So Blade is very broken. Not just a little bit,
Surprise,
a lot of it.
surprise.
Yeah. This is so funny because they have to keep going back and telling us who's in the cast and who's not and who's going to be there as far as characters and where the script is at and all this other thing because none of it's actually there. There's no there. So they announced this is going back on March 11th. They came forward and said this is the new cast, the release date, everything we know. And you read through this, and I think we mentioned it a few times of this thing falling into the MCU and everything else with Marshala Ali and the fact that we had so many different writers. But then Aaron Pierre came out and says he's not attached to Marvel's Blade any longer. Now this came out on the 17th, which was 2 days ago actually, and he says, yeah, the project evolved, and I'm no longer a part of it. What? Yeah. So yeah, he revealed on the red carpet for the 55th NAACP awards. He said early on there were conversations. As the product evolved, I'm no longer attached to it. This means they're not done with anything, right, Tom?
I guess not.
Is there even a script yet? A working one?
Well, I mean, Variety's reported that at least
They've been
5
through a
writers.
few. I was
Yeah,
gonna say, yeah,
at least 5 writers. I counted 7 the last time we
including
talked
the one
about
they
this.
just fired from X-Men. Yeah.
Hey, hold the mayo, right?
Oh.
But yeah, so Marshala Ali said back in December of 2023 that we're working on it. That's the best I could tell you. So he says, I'm sincerely encouraged in terms of where things are at and who's on board and who's leading the way as far as the writing of the script and directing and all that.
Mhm.
So that's the extent of what I can tell you.
Interesting.
This is bonkers. This film was announced how long ago?
Golly, before Endgame came out, wasn't it?
Something like
They
that.
they were talking about it back then. I think Civil War this thing got announced and I think that's when they attached Marshala Ali if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I mean, years and years ago.
I mean, you've had a bunch of Disney Plus series since then.
Yep.
Not good ones.
Nope.
So anyway, the reason that I bring this up is because, well, Marvel's Marshala Ali led Blade movie loses Aaron Pierre, and this is so much more things dropping on this story. So they've also had directorial issues. They have had lots of people drop in, drop out. I don't know. This production just flat out cursed? Is it going to get made? Um, eh, is there is there anything that we can point to as it's going to be good? Because right now the film's been pushed to November 7th of 2025, which means it's now in phase 6 instead of phase 5.
Hmm.
Thoughts, anybody?
They should have brought Wesley Snipes back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that that they're continuing with Blade because it is one of the more popular characters. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be one of the ones to get the cut, like we've been talking about here recently.
Right.
But yeah, I'm at this point where why even try to continue with this? This makes no sense.
Well, or maybe you have to move on from Ali because one of the reasons that were excuses out there that was given when it came to not bringing back Wesley Snipes was he was too old.
Yeah.
And they tried to insult him.
I think it was more that he wouldn't play ball, is my guess. But yeah.
Well, they tried to insult him with a Whistler role, is what they tried to do. Tom.
That's what I was told. Yes.
And it just seems to be one disaster after another with this entire project. It seems there's always some issue. Script's not quite right. People aren't quite right on the project. It's just continuously changing. New information. It's like how long is this going to continue? I mean, can anybody manage this project correctly and get everybody on the same page? I mean, what the hell's Feige doing over there? Is he even involved in any of this?
I I I don't know to what extent he's asserting any kind of an authority. It doesn't seem like much. He certainly isn't giving leadership or guidance or picking the
No,
right people.
no, not at all. Because it just seems, like I said, to be one issue after another since the announcement of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it just seems like they don't even really care that much about the project. They're just like, they'll work it out. These people are involved, and if it happens, great. If not, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not really going to be a part of our grand scope of things that we're
Mhm.
trying to do over here. Like I don't know what's going on. It just all seems really weird to me.
I again, I mean, and as is pointed out in the chat by a few people, we've been talking about the fact that this is script number 27, or
Mhm.
whatever. It's I don't know, Tom. I Does this movie the final question to both of you, and maybe even the chat if they want to weigh in, or even ask us anything via super chat or Streamlabs donation. The Streamlabs donations will be covered by Nate on Thursday. But back to that, if you want to drop a super chat in response to anything we've talked about so far, or if you just want to ask a question about something else that's unrelated, or you want to profess your undying love for Tom or Nick. But before we get to those, um, do you think this movie's gonna be made?
No, I mean, yeah. I don't know if it'll be this form like we're just talking, but yeah, I think it will happen eventually, though.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think it'll eventually happen. But honestly, at this point, with all the issues that's going on, I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing just didn't get canceled. And they're like, we'll revisit it down the road. It's just there's too many problems. Nobody can get on the same page, and we're just spinning our wheels over here.
Yeah.
Um, if this thing, so did they give a new projection on when they plan on this movie coming out in that
Yeah, no
article?
no November 7th, 2025.
Okay, I couldn't remember the date that you said
Yeah. Oh,
earlier.
the reason I remember it is it's on my birthday.
Oh, nice. And what they say, 2027?
2025. It's part of
Oh,
phase 6 or maybe
oh,
even phase
2020.
7. Who
Oh,
knows?
so November of next year they're looking at
2025.
dropping.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't see any way they make that date. I
I
I
don't
I mean, I'm in some bit of agreement with Tom that I think eventually it'll happen, but with all this, I just don't see this thing coming out by November, and if it is, I think it'll be really half-assed done.
No, well, okay. Speaking of half-assed done, the next thing we talk about is kind of half-assed done, and we'll talk about why, and it's also related to Disney. But just final question would be: does it get pushed back another year? Because Tom, shooting schedules require a big chunk, especially for these Disney Marvel films. Like you're dedicating like 3 months of your time to this as an actor in some form or fashion. You have principal, and then you come back for who knows how many reshoots and pickups and everything else.
Mhm.
And
You,
post-production is normally
and
what, double the filming,
post
time?
is easily that long, and then you've got to fit it into the calendar. Tom, where do you think this is, or does this just push back again?
Well, clearly it's going to get pushed back again.
Yeah,
I think you said it in the up front that it's going to probably be at the very end of this phase or somewhere into the next phase already. I mean, it's just
and they're slowing down on production across the board. How many things
yeah.
did they cancel?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I mean, and that's what I was kind of getting at is I know some people are probably like, "Wow, I'm surprised this isn't one of the canceled projects," but I'm not because I know Blade is a bit more popular. But
Very
if they're
popular.
just going to do the female Blade, then who cares? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't go that route.
well, that's
Well,
the rumor actually,
Oh.
that was kind of what the direction they
and
were
that's
going.
why
Oh, yeah, with her daughter and everything,
Wesley
that's right.
Wesley
Yeah.
Snipes was all kind of like confused as to why
Yeah.
Yeah.
he couldn't
Like
Yeah.
just play the part himself.
Why
Yeah.
why can't I just be Blade? I mean, that's what you
Yeah.
cast me for. Why is that? You
Yeah.
gonna keep a black man down?
Oh,
All right. On that note, I just want to say that I don't know. I don't think the movie gets made, but that's just me. On that note,